DeMaria, you're out of order.
Participation, they are.
I would only like to
I'm out of order.
that every word
think they're out
I
of
said
order.
tonight
Please.
was the truth.
Listen, this is the last time. Me and DeMaria, please don't interfere. Ms. Serino, you're only supposed to address what's on the agenda.
Right.
Like I said, that's what was here to public
Well, it
comment.
all
Not
relates to what's
voting
on the
in elections or anything else has nothing to do.
Where are any of her
with it
comments
tonight. Mayor DeMaria, please.
part of the agenda?
Mayor DeMaria.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, can you point out to me what she's speaking about that's on the agenda tonight? Can you just point out to me that?
Mayor DeMaria, I understand that. A lot of leeway, and I've always have, but you crossed the line, Mrs. Serino, when you talked about election and voting for something. That has no place here, please.
Right.
Thank you.
It does.
And let's make sure she doesn't speak about it again.
Mayor, please, don't interrupt.
Mr. Chairman,
Please.
public comment, what is the definition of public comment?
A point of order.
They're supposed to speak, they're supposed to speak on issues on the
Mayor
calendar.
DeMaria, I am running the
I
meeting.
know what my name is, Mr. Chairman. They're supposed to
Mayor
speak.
DeMaria, I am running the meeting. I have it under control. Ms. Serino, you
You
done?
do?
Yes, thank
All
you.
right, thank you.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman.
Ms. Lambert, on a point of order.
Our rules don't specify that.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. I'm sorry. repeat.
Our rules don't specify that it has to be an agenda item, but it does have to be germane to the,
Well,
I apologize.
the election
No, no,
has nothing. All right.
May I finish, please?
Sure.
It does not have to do with the agenda, but it does have to do with the work of the school committee. So I just want to clarify that our rules do not specify it has to be an agenda item, but it does have to be within the purview of the school committee.
Also, refer to, on that particular thing you just stated, refer to Rob.
Good evening. Fred Capone, 383 Broadway, here in Everett. I don't have any children in the school system, but I value education. And as a taxpayer in this community, I do have a stake. The majority of this committee has pursued personal political vendettas over the best interests of our school children. The hasty deliberation, if in fact there even was any, to put the superintendent on paid leave was based on 10 redacted complaints viewed by members only moments before the vote was taken. It is obvious that this was a coordinated event and final of many efforts to undermine the most diverse superintendent this city ever had and who has proven herself more than capable. I am confident that a more thorough examination of those complaints will reveal common threads in most, if not all of them, with all roads leading to City Hall. One petulant child puts his own selfish wants above the actual needs of our community and our children on a regular basis. Unfortunately, this incompetent Pied Piper has too many willing elected officials on this body and the city council to do his bidding without question. The irresponsible actions of these individuals negatively impact our children's education and our city's financial health, and we, the taxpayers, will ultimately end up paying millions for their ignorance. Pope John should be used as a school. It's a request I made as a city councilor back in 2019 when the city took it by eminent domain. The mayor's response, our schools are not overcrowded. That comment, like most that leave his mouth, was untrue. 4 years later, our school overcrowding problems continue to worsen, and Pope John serves no significant benefit to this community, while the taxpayers continue to pay the interest off the $10.5 million expense. Residents, elected officials, parents, and administrators expressed preference for Pope John use over modulars. Despite publicly stating he would do what the council and school committee wanted, the mayor again, demonstrating his inability to be upfront and honest, pushed for modular classrooms. As I have watched the many votes cast by members of this body and the city council, it is painfully clear that there is a desperate need to change most of our elected officials. On this body, there will be a change in at least several wards because members are not running for re-election. Of the remaining members, only 3 should be re-elected.
Mr.
as they
Chairman.
consistently.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Capone.
Mr. Chairman, please.
If an individual,
Mr. Chairman.
if an individual cannot
Chairman.
express their feelings to a body,
Elections have nothing to do with school business. It has anything to do with school
I'm
business.
talking about my elected representatives.
All right, that's election.
If an individual cannot speak, I've had to listen to certain individuals on the
Mr. Mayor.
with respect.
This guy's a professional child.
Clearly,
Destroyed our city.
case in point.
All these games.
Please, Mr. Chairman, case in point.
Case in point.
I'm sorry, you have to.
Fortunately, 2 of the members are unopposed, 1 is a member at large. The voters would serve our community and our children well to discard the rest and start anew.
Mr. Chairman, that is uncalled for, Mr. Chairman.
Folks, this is not a political.
As an amount of personal privilege to correct inaccurate information shared this evening by speakers regarding actions taken by the city. And let me also,
Interruptions. No interruptions. It's the warning.
Mr. Chairman, the speaker, former city councilor who unsuccessfully ran for mayor, speaks about calling me a petulant child, but it's been him and his political organization that has destroyed this city for the past 2 years. Okay?
Folks,
They have
please.
destroyed our city. They've worked.
That's it.
They've worked.
5-minute recess. 5-minute recess, that's it. 5-minute recess, that's it. You got it.
Hey, Mike, where's your
You can't
gavel?
control your thing, then you already escorted out.
Fine. I get it.
Welcome back to the Everett School Committee. Where we left off, Mayor Maria, you had the microphone on a personal privilege. Continue, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I really don't know where to begin because I have so many inaccurate statements that were made this evening to correct. For instance, the Pope John High School that we continue to speak about in regards to reusing for middle school, it was a vote taken by the city council to take that building by eminent domain for senior housing and veterans housing. We took that vote, money was appropriated, and then we went to dispose of that building, and it became a political ball, okay, to say the least. As you know, we have an MSBA application in to build a brand new high school with vocational school that we hope to get monies to offset the cost of that school. To renovate Pope John, the estimated costs were about close to $100 million, okay?
Folks,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. To build a new high school, vocational school, if we would get that built by MSBA with reimbursement rates, we probably would get anywhere from participating costs, 80% of participating costs paid for, which would leave us probably a couple $100,000, a few $100 million to pay. We don't have the ability to do both. So it's the long-term plan, Mr. Chairman. And in the short term, we're not building tin cans. They're actually classrooms that are air-conditioned with bathrooms, and they're suitable to suffice the need of overcrowding in the short term when you be building a long-term plan. And then this building could be a building that will facilitate our middle schools, a real middle school with cafeteria and gym and drop-off and so forth. So anyways, I don't want to get into that issue, being called a petulant child by someone who acts like one, and his group that continue to destroy our city, that organized walkouts, children's walkouts with members of this school department on City Hall. It was all organized, and we all know it. We read the depositions. We've seen what the Leader Herald has been embroiled in. I think we all understand what's happening. But the City of Everett, through its Human Resource Department, receives complaints about workplace issues from employees of the school department. And let me finish my statement, okay, Mr. Chairman? These employees actually exist, and any suggestion that the complaints were made up by the city are false. Employees have options about what avenues or forums they choose to raise concerns. The city's HR department is one option. My administration is working to create workplaces that encourage employees to come forward with their concerns. We focus on encouraging that behavior and avoid scrutinizing employees for where they choose to raise their concerns or complaints. It is also inaccurate to state that any employee's rights have been denied. The city's HR department listened to the concerns raised and determined that there was enough information to recommend that the school committee consider conducting a full investigation. A full investigation includes an independent outside party who will speak to the individuals, including those who raised the concerns and made the complaints, as well as speak to the employees whose alleged conduct is a subject of the complaint. The city's HR director will confirm for the investigator the identities of the employees who raised the concerns. It is important for students, their families, and all residents to know that the city has reached no conclusion about the concerns raised and the complaints made, other than the conclusion that the employees involved deserved to have the issues reviewed in full through a complete investigation. I'd like to thank the members of the committee for allowing me to correct false and inaccurate information about the city's action.
Gianna Martin. Gianna?
Good evening. My name is Gianna Martin, and I'm an EHS graduate of 2020. I'm a current college student studying history. I study how it is done, how it is thought about, and more importantly, how it shapes our society. The removal of Superintendent Priya Tahiliani is undoubtedly a moment in Everett's history that will forever embed a stain of corruption, discord, and the failing of children. I look at some of the bodies that sit before me and have zero reservations about their transparency and obligation to protect teachers, students, admin, and residents. On the flip side, I see members who contribute very little problem solving and are ridden with nepotism. I find it extremely disturbing that the City of Everett Human Resources is at the epicenter of the publicized allegations regarding a hostile work environment. Let me tell you why. Some months ago, I made a social media post expressing my disapproval of the amount of Black and brown kids who are employed as manual laborers for the city summer program versus the few and selective internship positions. Some youth staff expressed they were denied shade breaks, water, and were scolded or even dismissed when not complying to these denials. I was silenced for this, but I will no longer let fear and intimidation be the status quo. My social media post unveiled a great reactionary fear from youth services and human resources in the city of Everett. Congruently, the city of Everett Human Resources conducted heavily sheltered meetings with me and my coworkers who once worked at the Everett Rec Center. These were in regards to processes we wanted to see reformed, cultures we wanted changed, and strengthened management. Kathy Drain, Terry Ronco, and Roberto Velasquez repeatedly told us it was a safe space. Kathy Drain personally alluded to me as a woman of color who is trying to infiltrate systems that I need to be strategic, whatever that means. All I can say is that 4 employees, including myself, who spoke up were removed from the rec center and as city employees entirely. Human Resources will combat this by saying we were only on a year-round employment, but before any of this unraveled, we had already been in for over a year. The City of Everett Human Resources is currently withholding wages from a youth staff member of the rec, and they denied a staff member benefits in a full position after agreements had already been signed. The only remaining staff member of the Everett Rec Department is the same man that's been in his cushy seat for over 20 years. Need I say more? Since city issues have trickled into EPS spaces, we need to call into question the integrity and processes of the City of Everett. Let me further thought-provoke. DeMaria taking the conclusion of the U.S. Attorney's investigation of racism and wearing it as a badge of honor. Being under an inquiry on the basis of racism doesn't happen for no reason. Or, like how the city allows a white councilman who used the N-word to pull papers for re-election. The diversity, equity, and inclusion certificate he obtained from Suffolk University is merely a performative token. Or how a certain school committee candidate is openly homophobic and transphobic, even though a substantial percentage of our students identify with the LGBTQ+ community.
Ms. Martin, 30 seconds.
If you think our students won't remember these moments of Everett's history, know that their personal experiences equip them with far more political and self-awareness than you think. That is what makes them worthy of being served entirely and honestly. The bigotry will continue to be exposed when city representatives continuously disregard the public's outcries. When the deserving members are voted out, watch how the city of Everett will flourish in the new year with new faces who actually have an appetite for equity and student needs. Thank you.
The next person.
I'm David Fortin. I live at 3 Cedar Terrace, Ward 4 in Everett. I'm a voter. I appreciate you all giving me your full attention as I speak this evening. Put down your pens, put down your electronics, put away your pencils, put away your rulers. That's the way they taught us in school back 100 years ago. Robert's rules also, you mentioned Robert's rules. It says that we speakers should not be given any more or any less than 3 minutes to speak. That I'm just throwing out there. Now, in response to Jason Marcus' comment a couple weeks ago, or last week, when he spoke about being accosted after a political event, a previous meeting, I would like to say abuse happens every day to somebody. This was a political maneuver to get votes, I believe. It's my opinion. I too was accosted, assaulted at a political event, a fundraiser at Anthony's in Malden, for a gentleman who was running for a political office. I'm not going to mention his name because I'm too nice a guy to embarrass him, but he's among you. It happened that his guest speaker that night came up and elbowed me. And another gentleman caught me right in the esophagus. Now, I have COPD, I have emphysema, I have breathing problems. I could have sued. But instead, I yelled at this gentleman, and I use that term loosely, and I warned him that he could be facing jail time if it happened again, that hitting an elderly person or a senior is a felony. I'm not happy. Now, how can a school committee member, including the mayor, be absent from council meetings for several weeks to several months, return to a meeting when a particular vote is needed? I mentioned this to you, Mr. Mangan, a couple weeks ago. I don't know if you recall it, but I did. I spoke with you, and you told me to use your name. You said that this was a part of your rules, that this can be done, and also something should be done about it, because it was wrong. You agreed with me that it was wrong. I asked this because one of the gentlemen had been here, hasn't been to one of the meetings for a long time. He came up for that particular meeting, and he left right after the vote. You know who you are. Some other things that need to be changing on your school committee that I feel. The interruption by the chairman when we were speaking, public participation. The insulting mayor who leaves us
Mr. Fortin,
with taste.
please.
No, excuse me.
No, Mr. Fortin.
That's the last time that's the last time I'm mentioning his name.
Mr. Fortin, no, it's not about mentioning his name. It's like I said to everybody else. When you have something to say, which you can say anything you need to say, but you have to direct it towards the chair. You cannot look at a specific member. It's like you're speaking to him. The rules specifically say you are to address the chair. That's all I'm enforcing. Go ahead.
That I've never heard of, but I'll do it. You expect us to listen to you and to your committee when you speak. We don't get up at the meetings and we raise our hands. If I have a question, I'm going to raise my hand. If it's something you're talking about that I don't know about or I want more information, I can't speak on it until the next meeting. And then it's too late because the vote's already been taken. Stupid rule. But you expect us to listen to you. You listen to us once in a while. If you want our respect, then you have to give us some. I laugh at one of the gentlemen's impeccable attendance record here. I really laugh at it because it's ridiculous. You've all been hired to represent us, the people. Remember who pays your salary. We, the voters, not the mayor, not the city. It comes from our taxes that go up every year. I want to see where your rules say we need to look at you, not the committee. I really would like to look into that on a one-to-one basis or the book or whatever you're using for that.
Mr. Ford, I didn't
if it's just
interrupt you, but you have 30 seconds left.
no, I have.
No, you have 30 seconds left, is what I'm telling you.
Well, then please be quiet and let me finish.
The rules, no, please, don't be rude.
I'm not being rude. You're being rude.
You just stated,
Now.
Mr. Fortin, you just stated 3 minutes. You're over 4 minutes right now. As a courtesy, I said you have an extra
I
30
doubt it.
seconds.
I doubt it. But let me finish. Let me finish and then I'll leave.
15 seconds, Mr. Fortin.
I'll take what I need.
No, Mr. Fortin, you're done. Thank you.
Denying me.
Next person.
Denying my
Next
First
person.
Amendment rights, are
The
you?
next person.
This dog will come after you. That pig, right there. That pig right there. That fucking pig right there. Get on, you asshole.